Welcome back to Come Back with a Warrant podcast. I'm Brandon Dinitz.
And I'm Monica Ashak. Before we kickstart this week's episode, this is your reminder that this podcast is not legal advice. It's real, unfiltered, and for entertainment purposes only. If you need to speak with a lawyer, call one. Or better yet, call us. We are back talking about life as an entrepreneur and balancing that as a criminal defense attorney. So,
like, that's the nicest way of saying we're here to discuss the shit that stresses us out.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Like, that is what I mean, because in law school, you're not necessarily taught how to run payroll, run a TikTok, deal with hate messages on your social media, deal with clients that are very angry and frustrated and cursing you out in one moment and crying to you the next moment.
Making sure you're getting future business, making sure you're covering overhead, paying your employees as they should be paid. So,
well, now that we vented.
Oh my gosh, no. But before we get into all of this, I do want to say despite all of the shit that we deal with in one day, and by the way, we didn't mention that we also run a podcast. That's another job. But
we do this for them. We do this for the listeners.
Everybody's probably like, you are full of shit.
Yeah, you're totally full of shit. Yeah.
But there is literally no place I would rather be. I love, even on my hardest days, I love doing what I do. And I'm grateful that I'm doing it for, under my name and not for another firm. You know what I mean? I'm enduring this suffering for the sake of my business, not someone
sanity
else's.
Suffering.
Yeah.
Right.
So you started talking about a lot of different aspects of running a business, but we also have another full-time job, which is being actual lawyers, showing up to court, handling our clients, managing our caseloads, making sure we're identifying all of the legal issues in the cases. If we're going to trial, we're prepping for trial, just like all other lawyers are. We just have to also manage our business.
Right. And that is a second job.
Yeah.
Running the actual business of a law is a job within itself. And that is everything from payroll to finances, overhead you were talking about, marketing, budgeting. There's a ton of things that go into
bookkeeping.
That all go into your just the business side. And then when you have a passion and you do this at a certain level like we do, you take on another job where you have the social media aspect. And then for us, we take it another step further and we do this podcast and you do other speaking engagements and, we wear a lot of different hats. And it's funny, and you said, our other job, like as lawyers, like that is the main gig is when we're going to court and we're advocating and we're fighting for our clients, like that's the main job. But that is only a portion of what we do. And we choose to do this. We choose to take on the extra stuff. And I agree with you. I love doing this. I love the flexibility of working for myself because I can do multiple things. I can do multiple projects. I can, be in court in the morning, shoot a podcast in the afternoon, and pick up my son before the end of school. Like that is awesome. Like I get to check a lot of boxes in a given day, and I'm very happy about that.
Yeah. So it's like the reward is high, but the cost is also high, and we'll talk about that.
Right.
Because there is an aspect of starting up your business where you are investing. So I don't want to say losing money because you're using this money to build whatever it is you're building, but you're not getting paid the way you would at a firm or at an employed job. Like you are now working for yourself, and the priority is that the business makes money, and then you as the owner or employee of the business get paid second. So there is, the reason why I'm saying that is because I feel like you're having a great day, and you kind of just described it. You had, court in the morning, podcast in the afternoon, and picking up Jackson before it's time to actually pick him up or whatever. So it's great, but there's also an aspect of it where you're really putting a lot on the line, and you're just like, okay, I'm going to hope for the best and do my best, and whatever comes of it will come of it. And that's why we are literally everywhere marketing all the time. But there is an aspect where you have to just risk it all and hope that you will get paid at a stable rate that you would at an employed job or whatever. Because there's benefits to working for somebody, you
Right.
know?
No, I get that. The idea of having a salary and having a bonus structure or just knowing that you have a steady paycheck coming in and that you don't have to worry about overhead and that you don't have to worry about the small different areas that you don't really think about when you think about running a law firm. We have to have accountants, we have to have other lawyers that handle other things for us like
Yeah.
trademarks. We
Yeah.
have to have don't think of and marketing companies. I mean,
Yeah.
you have a lot of different people that help you run the firm because anybody can open a law firm. But to want to be successful and to want to grow, you need to do it the right way. You need to hire the right team and continue to build the right team because just right now, you can be, and we were talking about this, you can have a social media team that you're happy with or not happy with. And that means, okay, there are thousands of social media teams out there. If I don't like my social media team, I need to get a new social media team. And that means I need to start looking for another team and I need to
Yes.
start researching and I need to start interviewing. And it's like,
Trial and
that's
error.
a whole other part of the gig just to get your social media going, and that is just so you can make some videos, grow your brand in the chance that somebody sees that and then takes the step of hiring you. So you're doing all of this stuff just to get back around to the actual part of the gig where we're representing them in court and going to court. We have to take on all of these extra steps to get there, but we choose to do that, and we
Yeah.
like doing that. It's fun. It's
Yeah.
part of this.
And there's aspects of the job I didn't really sign up for. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I have a great assistant. She is amazing. But there is a learning curve with like managing an assistant and like making sure that, I'm now somebody's boss. So I need to you know, do training, prepare her to do her job, help her do her job, and make sure that all her questions are answered, make sure she has resources to look for answers when I'm unavailable. Like, there are things that I didn't really think through until I got, or like, I don't want to say things, but parts of my job that I didn't really think I would have to do as early as I did because I just wasn't mentally prepared for it,
Mm.
and I'm so grateful to be in this, like, position, and I think she's amazing, but it's just comes with a lot more responsibility than you really think. So, that being said, you and I transitioned into solo practice differently because I came from civil litigation without kind of having been removed from criminal defense for a while. So I didn't have like clientele to bring with me. Oftentimes, people who go from, and I'm not assuming because I don't know, and this is what my question is to you, but like many times when people make a transition within an area of law, they already have clientele in that area. And so their clients will choose to follow them or still send them business or call them. Because when I left the public defender's office and I was in civil litigation, I was getting clients from my old PD clients and calls from my old PD clients. And they were like, hey, like, where are you at? Like, can I hire you? And I'm like, no, I'm not practicing criminal right now. And so, I didn't have that clientele to bring with me. So I really just winged it in that sense. Like, I didn't have that. I was like, literally had just a budget to put into my firm and was like, okay, this is the money I have is what I need to use to end up growing what I can and find the clients that will help me build my firm. But you came from a different background where you were always in criminal, you were at the state's office, you went into criminal defense for a significant time leading up to solo criminal defense practice. So what was that transition like for you?
I mean, just to touch upon the one thing that you mentioned, I took a handful of clients with me. It wasn't a lot. And the reason that I only took a handful is when you're talking about changing firms as a client, as a criminal defense client, you have to repay to go to a different place.
Yeah.
So the clients that I was representing at my prior firm, in order for them to leave and come with me, they would have to, unless I'm willing to just waive it all together, would have to pay me a new retainer, which in one or two cases, I think I probably was, but it was already at the end of the case,
Yeah.
But I had a few clients that I took with me. And then I was very lucky that I had developed a large network of former clients and a network of attorneys that referred me cases. And that's what got me going
Yes.
because I had zero web presence.
Yeah.
I didn't have a website. I
Yeah.
didn't have a social media presence at all. So I started from scratch. And even though I was in the profession, I wasn't running a business at that time. So I was watching some people that were doing it and running a business and running a business well, the model that they have, they were doing it well. I was seeing that, but I wasn't part of running the business. And I also, so I didn't have to think about the marketing yet. I didn't have to think about, um, the parts of the job that we're talking about outside of going to court and dealing with clients and signing cases. Aside from that, I wasn't dealing with, any of the new stuff that we would have and we would take on.
Yeah. But I do find that word of mouth referrals from former clients is huge because at least I haven't personally experienced this in my firm yet because I've been in solo practice for, I'm going on my second year. So, but
Very cool.
anyways, yes,
Congratulations.
thank you. But when I was working for a solo a few years ago, most of his clientele, he has a great presence, all the things, but still most of his clientele was from his former clients referring X, Y, and Z name to his firm. So that is a huge way to and there's I think there's a statistic on this that's they're 99% more likely to close with you if somebody personally recommended or said your name in that conversation. So again, I'm saying a statistic like this, I never would have known this, but for my current role, I
Hmm.
don't look this stuff up for fun. This is things I need to
Yeah.
constantly educate myself on because it's now a part of my roles and duties and jobs as not just an attorney, but a solo attorney at least, or an attorney that runs their firm. So, and we are going to, I think it's there's an aspect of legal practice where, or I shouldn't say legal practice, I should say kind of running your business in general. It doesn't matter what you're doing, but you have to market yourself online. You have to be online. Everybody's online. If you're not online, and I get it. Maybe the first thing you're going to do when you get arrested is probably not go on TikTok and Instagram to look for your lawyer. You're probably going to do a Google search. And that's why we have websites. But now social media is being integrated into SEO and they're now a hand in hand thing. So it argument doesn't really even matter to say people aren't going to be going on social to look for their criminal defense attorney. But at the same time, it's having a brand, making sure that people know that you're top of mind. You're the person to go to for that specific industry, not just criminal defense, whatever it is. And that is a part of the reason why we chose to do Come Back with a Warrant, because this is a part of our brand. This is a part of our, it's a separate
Marketing.
company.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's its own entity. But at the end of the day, we're educating our audience on what we do, who we are, and what we see on a daily basis in our expertise. And that is a part of staying top of mind. And I mean, it's the fun part of marketing because, you know, recording yourself, I record myself, I know you don't, but recording content, in front of a camera for hours at a time, it's not what I choose to do for fun. So, it's something that is an obligation at this point because people don't open up yellow pages. You have to be on the internet. You have
Right.
to be accessible to the general public in some way, shape, or form. And the best way to do that is to be on all social media platforms. And so I didn't really see the value in that because it's a lot to do all the things we're doing. So as a result, we have to delegate, right? We have to
Hmm.
delegate our social, we have to delegate our website people. I don't know how to run a website. I don't know how to do any of that. So I need to hire the expert to do that. So it wasn't even on my radar to invest in social media people until I went out solo and I was trying to create my own content and put it out online and reached out to local people to help me record and all the things. And I was coming up with my own content and doing my own content strategy, which is its own thing now. People are experts at that alone. And I got approached by people online and they were people are always trying to sell me stuff. But at the time I was I guess it's a good investment. And it was, thankfully, because it's now still my social media team, but they help me manage all things social media because I don't have the expertise to do that or the time or energy to do that. I have to already create and record the content. They can post and deal with everything else on the back end. But it's all about providing value at the same time too,
Right. Yeah. I mean, and whatever we're doing, we're trying to provide value, especially even with this project itself, this podcast, we want to give value. And part of that value is entertaining people and giving them something to, to do while they're doing their morning drive to work or
Yeah,
whatever that may be. But yeah, ultimately it goes back to this being another branch of marketing that we're doing for us, and it is an add-on to all of the other work that we're already doing. I mean, I have, I have my strategy in the way that I handle my social media is I try to do at least one day a month where I'm dedicating to recording for social media,
yeah,
and then I can spread that out over the course of the month. And I have a team that does that for me. And they're going to do that with some of this content. I mean,
exactly.
but the thing that what we're ultimately getting at is content. And in order for you to expand, you need to have content. And something that you mentioned was, I don't know if you didn't really go into it, but you said SEO, and that's search engine optimization. And that's one of the biggest things for building an online presence at all. And I'm certainly no expert in this, barely understand it, to be honest with you. But the thing that I am taking away is, everything that can be searched in terms of trying to find you as a lawyer, you're trying to find ways to cast a net so that you can capture the people that are searching for whatever they're searching for and however they're searching for it, that they find you and they find your website, and that that you are top of mind, or that your brand is top of charts. And it is all about strategy on how you do that. You can spend money on your website for your website to be big, and you can spend money with Google to have ads that move you up higher and rank you higher. And a lot of that is very, very expensive. We've
Yeah,
talked about that.
super expensive.
You could be paying hundreds or thousands of dollars for leads
You
that
don't even
don't
close.
ever close. And it could be somebody asking me, about their taxes in the middle of the night,
It's
because that's another thing that we didn't mention. This is a 24-hour gig, 365. You are always on. Your phone is always on. You can get calls in the middle of the night, and you need to be able to handle all aspects of your business 24 hours of the day.
which allows for the flexibility, because
True.
like sometimes I'll go to the gym at 1 p.m., but I'm working at 8 p.m. that night. You know what I mean? So it's like whatever works for my calendar, whatever works, and everything. I have never been so reliant on my calendar. Like even my workouts, my walks, I time block what I need to do when I'm in my office and like have days where I'm like, okay, like I have 4 hours today behind the desk, or like I'm not in court or in meetings. What am I doing with those 4 hours? And I have to, because if you don't have that discipline, if I don't do that, I'm not gonna have the discipline. So that's why I have to do it. And
Hmm.
if I don't do that, your work's not gonna get done. You are governing yourself. You know what I mean? Like you don't have HR, you don't have a boss that's like standing over your shoulder. Like if you don't do it, the work doesn't get done. So you have to be disciplined in a sense where yeah, you're always on, but you also need to, in order to not always be anxious or, in order to have some sort of boundary so you can have a personal life, I think you need to use your calendar. And I know you use your calendar. I don't know if you use it to the extent that I do, but
Probably not. Probably not as
I,
much as I should.
but it's, you still use it and you need
Yeah.
it as a part of,
Yeah. Oh, of course.
yeah, like
All my cases and everything. My wife sends me calendar invites,
invites.
so that way we keep track of stuff, the personal stuff that we need to, so we know
Exactly.
when I have the flexibility to be scheduling something and do something like this, and know what my personal plans are for after this or earlier in the day, whatever my obligations are.
Because there is no 9 to 5 anymore.
No, there's not.
The only thing that really 9 to 5, how 9 to 5 affects my job is that the court system is revolves around 9 to 5. So, like for instance, if I need to get a hold of a prosecutor or need a judge to sign an order, if I send it at 6 p.m., I know it's not going to be signed till the next day.
Right.
But otherwise, 9 to 5 affects me zero, and the way I run my business 0%. So,
So much of our job is post five, you know,
yeah.
because you have to think about it. People that are calling criminal defense attorneys, if they have a situation, but it's not a current emergency, like it's not a warrant open, or it's not a brand new case. If it's a case that's open and they don't have court for, another few weeks or whatever the case may be, they are going to make the phone call to a lawyer after work when they're not in work. And so at 6 o'clock, you're getting phone calls from people that are no longer on the clock at their job, but now they're dealing with their personal life, which is a potential criminal case. And that case is something that I'm not now talking to them at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, that's so
There's
true.
no,
And yeah, it's not like, oh, it's 6 o'clock. I'll talk to you in the morning. Like, no, we're
right,
gonna talk about it at 6 p.m.
right.
I have a consult scheduled after this, and that'll be after 5 p.m.
And there are times where I have to set boundaries with clients because they take advantage of my availability after hours. If I'm getting constant calls from a client at 10 o'clock at night and I know it's not an
Urgent.
emergency, sometimes I'll set a boundary, be like, hey, call me during some more regular hours or whatever the
Yeah,
case. But
for
more
the
often
most
than
part,
not, no,
yeah.
I'll take a call at whatever time. And because the people that are calling us are usually freaking out
Yeah.
and they're not looking at the clock when they're calling us. They're
No.
just
Yeah.
calling and hoping that we can give them something that will let them sleep a little bit better that night.
Yeah, I've definitely done consults at midnight before
Yeah,
on the
of
weekend
course. Oh, yeah.
or answered at dinner with my friends.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta step outside. But that's again, that's like people can choose to have their phones off during those times. Like, there is a way to have boundaries, but it's also like up to you how you want to have that work life balance. Not to say I don't have it, but that's why I need to schedule everything because otherwise I will let myself like be forgotten.
Right.
So
You could have a call service that answers your calls
there's so
after
many
hours
ways.
and
Yeah.
and then takes messages for you so you're not the one doing it. And conceivably you could have times where you turn off your phone, but it's not realistic when you're starting up a business by
Yes.
yourself to do that. That's a significant financial resource that is just it's not realistic right now. So we have to be the ones that take those calls. But I think the point that you're making is you can't lose yourself in the shuffle and you have to make sure that you're scheduling time to care for yourself, whether
Yeah.
that's working out, whether that's meditating, whatever that is for you, you have to do that and you have to make that as important as scheduling the most important meeting for the day.
Yeah.
It's got to be up there and it's got to be a priority because you have to prioritize your own mental well-being in order to take on the
More.
type of things that we take on.
Yeah. Yeah, and to take on more of it, to keep the business running and going.
Right.
That's so true. That's so true. It's so real. Like taking care of your mental health, your physical health, your family. Like sometimes rest is like something that should make our to-do list. Like honestly, like I follow all these people on TikTok and Instagram that are all about like pour back into yourself because that is something I always like struggle with because I love what I do and because I love what I do and I'm so passionate about it, I'm willing to let Monica be forgotten. And if that's the case, it's not going to be like if I'm not the one that's making sure I'm taken care of, nobody else is going to. And then I can't take on X, Y, and Z for my clients and then run my business in the best way I can. So that's so real. And there's another aspect that you did discuss where it was about hate comments, managing hate comments, which at first I was like, when I like had my first viral video and I was like getting so much hate. Like, I get this comment all the time, like, don't listen to TikTok lawyer. Like, do you want to see me do a closing argument? No, I'm just kidding. But people are haters.
I got called a chump. Wasn't very nice.
I
Wasn't very nice.
I got a funny one that was mean and it was about my appearance, but it was so funny. I was like, that's a good one. Like, honestly, I can't even be mad. It was a video about, I don't know if I told you this, but it was a video about you can get credit if you like from an airline if they like cancel your flight. And it was like the tiers of the credit. So I was like explaining it. And someone commented, she figured out this information when she missed her flight to get a rhinoplasty.
Oh, that's not nice.
But I thought it was so funny.
Oh, that's
But
not nice,
no, but
it's
other
funny.
people came for him. And I was like, you know what? I'm not mad about this back and
Yes,
forth.
you got the protectors on there
Yes,
too.
yes, exactly. My fans came to my rescue.
No, I got some good hate on my height when I did the proposal video with Jen because you can tell Jen's a little bit taller than me in that video. So I got some good some good hate for being short, and I was like, all right, I'll take it. Like, whatever.
Oh my God, that's funny. People are mean.
Yeah, it could be worse, but honestly,
it doesn't bother me anymore. But initially, it definitely was like,
yeah, it was the first few comments that I got that like were not the nicest. Like, I was just like, all right, well, like, you're the one that chose to sit there and watch the fucking video.
Yeah, some like anti-Semitic comments on mine.
On yours?
Yeah.
Well, they are barking up the wrong tree.
Literally.
I haven't gotten any on mine yet.
You're like, it's coming though.
Oh, it is. I have been waiting for it.
But people are mean, and honestly, the haters have helped me go viral even more.
That's the truth.
And whenever I comment back, they continue commenting, and it starts this battle online that makes my video get seen. And I'm like, okay, well, thank you so much, hater.
Yeah, at this point, they are another viewer, another comment.
Yeah, you're boosting my stuff in the algorithm.
And also, the more controversial the stuff that you put up, the more responses it gets, and the conversation gets started. It's it's cool to see. Sometimes it's cool to see how the people react to stuff you put up, and other times it's like, I didn't need to put myself out there if this was what I was going to get back. But
yeah,
I mean, that's few and far between. And also, you get to a point where you don't care about that anymore.
No,
like, I don't care.
I mean, we also aren't getting like crazy death threats or anything, so it's easy for us to say this, but
not yet.
Our general haters currently, y'all don't faze us.
Yeah, no, the current level of haters are very low level. We don't have anyone that's
low level.
Yeah, we don't have
low level criminals.
Yeah, we have low level
haters.
Yeah, low level haters, low level criminals. We're not really pulling any big problems yet.
Yeah, well, there is something we talked about before where it was like, what is a day even in like a day in the life of, like, if someone were to ask you, what is a day in the life like for you? How would you describe it? Because you did say like you dedicate one day to recording social media a month. Like, I do that too. I try to record all my stuff on one day.
I think every day is different. I don't have a typical day structure anymore like I used to when I worked at the state attorney's office or when I worked at my prior firm, when you would be showing up at the office, staying at the office for the whole day, and that was your job, or going to court or the office. My job now is, when it comes to court in the morning, if I have court, I'm there. If not, I'm in the office pretty early, and I am in the office until I have an appointment, or if I don't have an appointment, I am out. But I have the flexibility of doing things like this. And I also get to say, okay, it's like 3:00. I'm going to go, pick up Jackson, or I'm going to go take my son to the zoo this afternoon. I can do
whatever.
But it also means that I could have a lunch in the middle of the day that is a long lunch if I want. I can meet with clients in the middle of the day. I can go to the gym first thing in the morning, which I don't do. My wife's going to laugh when she hears me say that, because she's going to be like, you do not do that.
You're full of shit.
Yeah, totally full of it. But I could if I wanted to, because I've got some flexibility as a business owner.
You really wanted.
Every day is a little bit different, and the way that I schedule certain things in a month, whether it's shooting this podcast or shooting social media stuff, I try to make those set to specific days, so that way the rest of the month is flexible for whatever comes up. Because a new client can call me and they may have court tomorrow, and I got to be flexible to adapt to that. Our schedule, even when recording this or doing anything else, we make sure we leave the window of time in the morning open, so that way if we need to go to first appearances for someone that was arrested the day before, or if somebody just waited to the last minute to hire a lawyer and they need help the next day, that we're ready and available to do that.
Yeah. That's so funny that you go. So I have same answer, but I never, if I don't have court or if I don't have to be in the office, I will not go. I don't care to be there. I am a by appointment only girly. Like, if you want to see me, you got to let me know. You can't just show up here, which happens a lot. Clients are like banging on the door. They're calling my office and they're like, we're outside the door. I'm like, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Can't just show up at your office.
No, you cannot do that. I am home. I am a work from home person. I love working from home. If I'm not in court or like have an in-person meeting, I'm home working. Like, I'm not, which allows me to have like slow mornings. If, sometimes I will go for a walk outside and like listen to our podcasts for, edits and all the things, and like still getting work done, but I'm still like doing what I want to do and having the morning I want to have. Go to the office. Like,
I love being in the office.
That's crazy.
I really do. I feel like there's I have a different level of focus in the office. The only thing I don't like about the office is I can't bring my dogs, and I don't have a bunch of people working there like I used to
Yeah.
when in my previous jobs. Other than that, I mean, it's I can get in, I can focus. I have, you know, my office set up with my computer and my screen on my desk and the
It's
things
like
that
your
are way
workstation.
right, and I can go into that mode and, do exactly what I need to do, whether that's planning out stuff for social media, writing motions for my clients, getting emails out, getting phone calls done. I mean,
Yeah.
so much of our job is being on the phone and or being able to email people and getting a hold of people quickly. Like that's so much of our job. So yeah,
Wow.
kind of lost what I was saying there, but
No, you were saying that you're an in-office person.
I mean, yeah, that's my
You get your work done there. You're
yeah.
focused there. I have that too, but I have it at home and I have it at the office, but I'm just most comfortable at home too because I like have my food there. I don't have to worry about what I'm gonna eat. I don't have to worry about buying lunch. Like I can feed myself here. I can be in my comfortable clothing here. Oh, I love working from home. I'm so grateful that COVID changed the times because but for that, I'm not saying I'm grateful for COVID.
Right. Not correct. We're not saying that.
I'm just saying that I'm very grateful that being virtual is a thing. So, and like being able to do remote court sometimes is just so convenient because like
Sometimes it is.
today I had to be in two places at once. Technically, I didn't have to because you could have covered
Well,
me.
right.
I didn't have somebody to cover me. I was able to remote into court and still show up to another courthouse and handle multiple hearings at one time.
Totally benefit.
So that's really what I meant. But
Yeah.
anyways,
So Monica and the people who bring you Zoom are really thrilled about COVID.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very grateful. Thank you, China. Like there is just no day that is alike. And I will say that part of running your business is also investing in your team. And even though you may not have employed people working for you directly, there is like contract work where you're paying your social media team, your website people. And I have people specifically for LinkedIn where I have my posts, I post on their separate content than I do in my my other social content. And I see all these people that contract with my firm as extensions of my team. Like I have group chats with these people. We are always like collaborating, strategizing on like what the best way we can enhance marketing and branding because I don't pay for a lead source. And that's another aspect of running a business is that attorneys can pay for like similar to Google Ads where it's like pay per call or pay per click. You're paying for a closed lead or hopefully not a closed lead, but a more funneled lead. And there are companies that provide those services to attorneys specifically. And I don't invest in that. And I would say most firms do from what I've seen. And so that is the reason why I so heavily invest in my own personal brand and in my marketing team and in my LinkedIn team and in my website team, because those are the people that are making sure I am getting business because otherwise obviously I show up to, happy hours, I network, I do all those things, but most of my leads come from an online referral where people see my content, whether it's another attorney or another professional, and they end up knowing somebody, or maybe somebody I know from my past that saw my content and was like, hey, like, I actually recently dealt with this issue, or I have a friend that is asking about this. Can you help them? So that's that's also something to think about. It's like, where are you going to get your clients or your quote unquote customers who are going to fund your firm in order for you to then obviously pay it back into the firm and then pay you eventually. So there's an aspect of that where it's like maybe you're not necessarily managing a team. Like there's so many parts of this job like I did not ever think like that would be a role of mine.
I think there are new parts of the job that I learn that I need new people to help me with often. I think and maybe that's a really good sign. And that's a sign that I'm in a position where I'm growing. So I need to find continued help and I can afford to bring in that help. And that's really, really great. But in order to grow, you're right. You need to have, unless you are someone who is
Jack of all
extremely
trades.
gifted with computers and with marketing and you have the
It's
best,
not
you
cool,
know,
even if you are.
charisma, like, and you're an amazing content creator, you can't, I don't think you can do it all and do it all effectively.
Yeah.
You need a team around you because there are areas where, yeah, sure, you could be doing your social media and you're the one that shoots all of your own social media stuff and you're the one that does all of your own content. But then you start running into problems with the content being repetitive or the content all looking the same or um, they're lacking something that takes you to the next level. And you have to be willing to do what it takes to get to the next level in order to expand. And that is continuing to bring in new team, expand your team,
And that's
develop new resources, things like that.
admitting also that you're not a know-it-all. Like, you have to, like, in order to
Oh,
win in this, like, you have to know that you're not going to be the best at everything and that you need to get the experts at what they do to, like, the experts to handle each department in your business. And so, like, what you're saying is huge because, like, I think a lot of people let their ego get in the way of their own success. It's like a way of self-sabotage. It's it will never work if you think that you can handle everything. Because this is my second business. My first business was wedding planning, which was mentioned, I think, on Jen's
Jen
episode.
mentioned
Jen mentioned it. I
that
never I
business.
never talked about it before, but this is my second business. My first business, I really was like, "Oh, I'll handle it. I'll handle it." And it really wasn't like I wouldn't even consider it a real business. It was like more of a just a side hustle. And I don't want to dismiss other people's side hustles that actually run as businesses that like employ people or whatever. I did not reach my full potential because I believed that I could do it all. And I really couldn't because at one point it got successful enough where I needed to either close it or hand the ball to someone. And that's when I decided to start my firm. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to close and start my own firm. But that got in the way of my own success at the time. So at least in wedding planning. So it's definitely, there's a lot of kind of like personal growth, I would say, like with my journey in terms of like throughout this whole process, whether it was before I started my firm and so on, but it comes with a lot of like facing yourself, your issues, maybe you don't have a good relationship with money, you have like a mindset where you feel like you're never going to be able to get it back or if you're not willing to take the risk. Like there is a big fear component with stepping out into the whim when you've been employed for so long and
Right.
you actually have a family. Like for me, I kind of saw it like to be honest, when I went out on my own, I saw it as like risk free because I was like, what am I going to lose a few $1,000s? Like I know that sounds kind of privileged, but at the end of the day, it's like money comes and goes and it's replaceable. And I'm so confident in my ability as a lawyer that I will find another job if this is unsuccessful.
Right.
So I really wasn't worried and I have a supportive family and I saved from my wedding planning. Like I had things set up for me that I was like, this is kind of a no brainer. It's risk free. But you didn't have that same comfort. Like you have a family, you have responsibilities, you have a child, like you're a father and a husband, and you have to provide, no pressure.
We talk about teams and the importance of teams and building a team. And I have the best team at home, and that allows me to do what I need to do. My family I put above all else, and I could take jobs that would make me more money than I make now, but I wouldn't get the same time and abilities that I have to be with my family and spend the type of time I do, and I have that, but I wouldn't be able to do what I do without my wife and
Yeah.
my partner and that team at home, and then also wanting to keep doing all of this and keep getting better and bigger for them is so much more motivation that I a lot of the fears and things about uh, taking risks and stepping out there I'm not even it doesn't even phase me because I wanna push forward and do it and build for them, and that's what it's all about. I
Yeah.
mean, it's such motivation and fuel for me that I never looked at it like, you know obviously, I understand starting my own business is a risk, and there are, the concerns about what if it doesn't work out, what do you do? But I no, my outlook forward is just that. It's looking forward. I'm not concerned about some of the smaller things, and I do it for them,
Yeah.
and it
Wow.
works.
That's
So far,
amazing.
so good.
Good for yeah, that's amazing. Cause like I say that I did it in a way where I felt like risk free in a way, but that's the conclusion I ultimately came to. But the process to get there wasn't necessarily like, oh yeah, I knew like I was scared for sure. But to hear like that you were like, no, I know that it's gonna be like I'm gonna work my ass off so hard for my family that it's going to work out.
It's good. Yeah, it's a lot of positive outlook.
Yes, we joke all the time, and I think there's like kind of a serious aspect to it, but we talk about like the growth of this podcast, and it's like you have to kind of be a little delulu to like,
Yeah.
and it's not even delusion because it becomes a reality, but from when you're in like the baby stages, it is kind of you are kind of being delusional because it's like not realistic yet, and so you just I think have to have this like overly positive attitude that it will work out because you're showing up, you're doing your best, and everything always ends up working out because you are doing those
And
things.
you're doing it for the right reasons, like you're dedicating, whether you're doing it for yourself or you're doing it for if you're putting the right motivation behind you and you're doing things the right way and for the right reasons and doing it with people you enjoy, like, and spending time, out there building and growing, it's going to turn itself back in, and you know, you'll reap the rewards from it.
How did you like know how to start a firm?
How did I know how to? I didn't know how to start a firm. The Florida Bar gives you like a whole printout on how to start a law firm,
I was
and
wondering
I
if
went to them, and they gave me a beautiful chart and I think a PowerPoint
yeah,
show, and
it's very
that's
detailed.
how I did it. But I had no idea. I have family that were entrepreneurs and I have family that were business owners. None of them were ever involved in the law, so I didn't have any help or guidance for them on how to open up a law firm. And my background, other than law school, I studied international business and world trade in college. So like I had a business-ish
Background.
background. So I did that. I figured, like I kind of understood, and I understand I'm pretty good with my money. Like, I don't think I'm necessarily bad with my money. I save a good amount. And I don't know. I figured like there's a lot of people that start law firms
Right
and
out of
they
school.
don't put in as much effort as I'm willing to put in, and they do fine.
Yeah,
I figure if I'm willing to put in the effort that I am and I'm doing it with the right motivation,
so true.
yeah.
And so many people like graduate law school and start their own firms, and like after having done that, I don't want to say many, many years into practice, but years into practice, I was like, how do people figure this out? Like, you have the learning curve of actually practicing law plus running a business. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know how people
Yeah.
do it. I wanted to also talk about like the wins in running a business in terms of
Because it's not all gloomy and depressing and
yeah,
stressful to run a
yeah,
business. No,
yeah.
you're right. It's not.
So, but also like, how do I say this? When we get a client call, it is very hard on the other side of the phone, right? But for us, we can help them.
Mhm.
That's our service. So as a result, when a client calls us, we get pretty excited, right? Like that's a win. So
The phone ringing, yeah, that is the name of the game, is getting the phone to ring.
exactly.
All the marketing, everything we're doing is getting the phone to
And
ring.
that's how you know it's working.
Right.
Exactly.
That's it. If the phone is ringing, that's how you know. When we're done shooting this episode, when we look at our phones and we see how many people have contacted us or not contacted us, we have a sense of, you know what? All of that shit that I'm doing is working.
Exactly.
That's how you can gauge it.
Exactly.
Is the phone
Exactly.
ringing? So then when you have 2-3 days in a row where that phone doesn't ring and you start looking and you're like, oh man, I'm spending how much money on social media?
Exactly. That is exactly where I was getting at because there are days, well, initially in the startup stages, there are weeks and months, at least for me, my phone wasn't ringing. Nobody had my number. My website was still under construction. I didn't have social media content out there. None of my lawyer friends even knew I was in criminal practice again. Like I would just like it was just I was just not out there. And I had weeks and months of silence and no calls and no leads and all the things. And now when I look at my phone, I'm going to probably get, you know, a little anxiety for a moment because of the amount of
People you have to
people,
return.
yeah, getting in touch with me. But that is literally the point. Like that is the goal. So I'm glad you got to the point right away because I was like, yes, hell yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. There's just so many aspects of this, and I feel like we can talk more specifically on like the importance of like brand building, maybe on another episode with someone who's like an expert on it.
Sure.
Um, but overall, it's Travis, why are you laughing? I literally. Oh Like, did I do something?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. I thought I said something. I'm like, did I miss something? Okay. No, it's fine. I think we're gonna wrap up anyways. No. What are we gonna
Wait,
say?
I'm now I'm
That's
confused
what I'm
why you're
saying. What
laughing.
was funny?
What did I say? Because yeah, that's how you know if it's.
Oh, that was funny.
But an expert will be like, we'll show you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly,
right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
Okay, I get it now. Yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
I'm just making sure before we go that we covered everything. I don't know if there's anything else. We can talk about the aspect of like cases that like we get to pick what cases we work on. Our cases.
Yeah.
Or
If you
no?
want to. Nah,
No?
we
Wrap
could
it up?
We could wrap it up.
Okay.
But just have like a finishing thought, like
Okay.
that you want to like say.
Overall, I think that there are so many just different aspects of our job that we have to kind of transition. And I always post this on my story. It's like always some version of this reel or photo or meme or whatever. And it's always like business owner, entrepreneur. And it has like all of the roles that you have to, like all the different hats that we wear, where it's like social media. For us, it would be like lawyer. The other one would be like artist, creator, like all these different hats that we wear. And I always repost it because it's like hits home every time. And I'm always like, but I'm so like, again, like it's not fake when I say I'm so grateful because I like actually am. I love to do what I do. I love like I didn't realize I would actually love being a business owner as much as I do.
Yeah, I love it too.
Yeah, even though it's like the hardest, it actually is the hardest thing I've ever done.
It's stressful.
Yeah, but very grateful. And so we will definitely do more episodes, I think, on this topic. But this is definitely going to be the conclusion of our episode. And if you liked listening to us, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to all of our platforms. Come back with a warrant.pod and make sure you leave us a 5-star review. And if you don't like listening to us,
come back with a warrant.